holy grail for a 13B turbo engine in Australia has been to run a 6-second pass. Lots of people in Puerto Rico and the US have done it, and we haven't been able to do it here until 2 weeks ago. I've gone from winning an Olympic medal to becoming Australia's quickest and fastest 13B turbo, and now I want to be the world record holder for a 13B because I was born this way. All I can say is I'm just really proud to be the man that did it. The feelings that I got from running a 6-second pass with a 13B was just something that I'll never forget. My childhood was filled with lots of weekends and holidays at the diving pool doing springboard diving. My dad was an Olympic coach and my mum was an Olympic diver. A lot of holidays at nationals and training and competing and trying to better myself. My introduction to rotaries was pretty simple. A friend of a friend pulled up where I was working one day in a purple RX-3 coupe with a 13B turbo in it. He simply took me around the block. It was no more than 2 minutes, but from that day I just remember thinking to myself, I've got to have one of these cars. My first car was an RX-3 sedan. It was white, the number plates were Sir RX-3, which I owned for probably another 7 or 8 years, and that was my introduction to drag racing as well in that car. And I think in the year 2000, we ran a 10.0. When I was about 19 years old, I got the offer for a scholarship at the Australian Institute of Sport. Basically, it's a full-time job. You're training sort of 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was the whole deal of just being a professional athlete. After I'd been training all day, I could go and muck around in the car, and even if I just go and sit in it in the garage, it'd just make me a lot happier after, you know, anything could have gone wrong. It's just my happy place inside the car, I think so. My coaches for diving at the time thought it might be a good idea for me just to focus on the sport and my performance. I remember thinking to myself, one day I really would like to win a medal at the Olympics, get my act together for 2004. In the 2004 Olympics, I competed in the 3-metre individual event and the 3-metre synchronised event, and that's the one I won a bronze medal in. I think I had 3 or 4 years without the car, and then I just started to get the itch again, and I went out and bought another RX-3 coupe. That car ended up being painted orange. Number plates were RIP 8s, and then I decided to take it to Eastern Creek and race it. We ran 850 in that car. I mean, it had very low profile tyres on the back on the street, and it just basically put your foot down, and with that much power to just fry the tyres. That's not a good recipe really for the street. I didn't feel like I was going to hold onto my licence for very long. Taking my RX-3 coupe from a street car to being a pure drag car, my goals at the time were to only like a 4-link rear end and to make it safe and predictable and something that I could race and run somewhere in the sevens. From there we just got a little bit carried away and decided to 3/4 chassis the car. Basically that means you cut from the firewall all the way back and replace that with a purpose-built drag racing chassis. So the only bits of RX-3 left, the roof and the quarters from all the front engine bay is all standard. The floor's chopped out. Custom-made diff, shortened, it's got strange struts. It's got carbon fibre doors and boot lid and bonnet and guards and nose cone, but still keeps the RX-3 coupe shape, which is great. When you go 320 kilometres an hour, there's some things that you need to modify for motorsport reasons. There's an original grille on the car, but behind that there's like a carbon apron so that the air doesn't come in and blow the front of the car off. Stickers for headlights, we don't need headlights in drag racing. Basically we've taken all the heavy parts of the working RX-3 out that we don't need, and we've just retained the RX-3 feel. It is a billet 13B engine. It runs on methanol, in excess of 1100 horsepower, is run by the EFI from Microtech. It's got a Garrett turbocharger on there. There's a funnel from the right side headlights that goes into the turbo mouth, which feeds turbo air in, which is really important. G-Force GF2000 gearbox. It has a twin plate clutch and it goes very fast. Holy grail for a 13B turbo engine in Australia up until now has been to run a 6-second pass. A week before Jambo, I'd like to take the car to Queensland, and I feel like we have a good package and a good enough car, and it's predictable enough that we can do the business. The first 6-second pass that we ran in the car, I was a little bit nervous, and I more just wanted to get out there and drive the car properly. So I remember doing a good burnout, and I remember thinking that it was quite cold and the conditions might be good for quick times. So we staged the car, rattled through first and second gear. Somehow I shifted into third, and the car just stayed planted through fourth, fifth and fifth gear, right through the traps. And I just remember that the car pulled very hard through all 5 gears. And when I crossed the line, I knew that it was a fast run. We got into 5th gear and the car was really hauling. So I pulled the chutes, unfortunately ended up in the kitty litter, and I heard on the radio, when I was slowing down from my crew, that it was a 6.9 pass. I don't think it really sunk in or registered until I got the car stopped. And then once that moment happened, I really just went a bit crazy with the celebrations.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Yeah, look, trying to compare the first 6-second pass in Australia with a 13B and winning an Olympic medal is probably quite difficult. Winning an Olympic medal is probably something that I think of as a professional achievement. Running a 6-second pass with a 13B is probably more of a personal achievement. In diving, you go and perform for, say, 3 or 4 seconds at a time, and you might do 6 or 7 dives in a competition. In drag racing, it's all over in 6 seconds. But then you have to go and sort the car out and then come back out and do it all over again. So trying to drive these cars is not easy. That much horsepower with a very short wheelbase, and with the turbocharger you have to have the RPM right, and you have to keep the car straight and stuck down the middle of the track. So I feel like the driving aspect of things is something that I've got my diving career to thankful for. So this year at Jamboree, we ran Australia's first 6-second pass. We backed it up with a second 6-second pass, and then we won the event and ran 200 mile an hour.
Back to back champion! I've been trying to do that for 5 years.
You got to back it up,
You finally got it, mate. You finally got it.
Oh, I can't believe it.